Welcome the designated anomalies. Rarity isn't merely valuable, it's a potent force, a volatile element. This isn't just an inspirational saying, it's an immutable law governing every sphere of existence, physical, spiritual, and even economic. Consider nature, where the rarest organisms are either deified, relentlessly pursued, or confined to sterile displays. Scientists estimate that the probability of someone possessing your precise DNA sequence, navigating your exact life trajectory, and bearing your unique spiritual signature is statistically astronomical, a figure exceeding 1 in 7 billion. And that's before factoring in the divine influence. But here's the arresting truth: being an exceptional individual isn't solely about inherent uniqueness. It's about embodying the system error, the plot twist that confounds expectation, the human embodiment of encountering a talking raven in the dead of night. Impossible to disregard and just unnerving enough to ignite unease. Some will label you gifted, others eccentric. A select few will even deem you dangerous, and to a certain extent they will all be accurate. Because you chosen catalysts, you don't just stand out. You stand apart, a singular force. You are a walking paradox imbued with an ancient wisdom that renders you impervious to modern deception, yet possessing a futuristic vision that defies the constraints of outdated structures. Today we will dismantle the romanticized notion of being extraordinary, exposing the stark, unfiltered realities that define what it truly means to be 1 in a billion. No platitudes, no saccharine assurances, only 14 penetrating, challenging, thought-provoking truths that will illuminate why the world often struggles to comprehend your essence, and why that struggle is likely to persist. First, your existence was never intended for mass assimilation. You were never designed to be easily processed or conveniently categorized. Society has been conditioned to favor what can be swiftly labeled, readily understood, and neatly compartmentalized. But you defy these preset categories. Your persona, your convictions, your perspective on life, they resist conformity to familiar patterns. This isn't a contrived effort to be different. It stems from the inherent depth and complexity of your being. Qualities that cannot be diluted for mass consumption. The stark reality is that most individuals are unwilling to invest the effort required to truly understand another person. They seek superficial connections, predictable reactions, and commodified personalities. You are not wired for such superficiality. You possess a depth of character in a world that celebrates shallowness. You possess layers that demand patience to unravel, and not everyone possesses the discipline or spiritual maturity to progress beyond the surface. To the untrained eye, you might appear overwhelming or overly intense, but this is merely because they are accustomed to fleeting indulgences, whereas you represent a complete, nourishing experience. Your presence compels others to confront more than just you. It forces them to confront themselves. This is the source of the discomfort. They cannot assimilate you without also experiencing their own insecurities, contradictions, and repressed truths. For some, this is invigorating. For others, it is infuriating. Consequently, rather than acknowledging their inability to fully embrace you, they attempt to diminish you into something manageable. But the divine does not create manageable spirits. You were not dispatched here to conform to the expectations of the majority. You were crafted for those rare individuals willing to grapple with truth, to wrestle with their own inner selves, and to remain open to embracing what eludes their complete comprehension. This is why you often experience feelings of misunderstanding or isolation, because the average person lacks the skills to navigate a spirit such as yours without undermining its inherent essence. And if you have ever attempted to render yourself more palatable, you have likely discovered that it is a futile endeavor. Your authenticity is too powerful to be permanently contained. Being incompatible with everyone is not a defect. It is confirmation that you are operating on a wavelength that only a select few can perceive. Those who can will regard you as the invaluable asset you truly are. Those who cannot will devote their lives to rationalizing their inability to retain you. Regardless, your intrinsic worth remains constant, surpassing mass consumption, defying imitation, and exceeding measure. Second, you are the anomaly in the system that validates the inherent flaws in the code. Every system you have encountered, whether explicit or implicit, operates on a set of rules. Families adhere to them, workplaces are governed by them, cultures are defined by them. These rules function like background programs, dictating what is deemed acceptable, what is considered normal, and what is perceived as possible. Most individuals accept these rules without question, conditioned to believe that the status quo is immutable. But your life serves as irrefutable proof that the program is not flawless. You are the anomaly that exposes the vulnerabilities of the code. From the outset, you functioned differently than expected. Where others complied without critical thought, you questioned. Where others maintained silence to preserve harmony, you spoke out. Where others accepted limitations, you pushed beyond them. This was not mere rebellion for its own sake. It was your spirit's refusal to operate on a defective operating system. This caused you to stand apart in ways that were impossible to conceal, even if you desired to. The crucial aspect of being an anomaly is that you shatter the illusion of the system's infallibility. When you achieve success in areas deemed impossible, or when you dismantle structures considered unbreakable, you compel others to acknowledge that the conventional way of doing things may not represent absolute truth, but rather entrenched tradition. And tradition, once scrutinized, begins to lose its grip. This is why systems, whether social or spiritual, often seek to neutralize individuals like you, not because you are inherently disruptive or outspoken, but because your very existence challenges their claims of absoluteness. Some individuals will harbor resentment towards you for this. They have constructed their identities, their sense of security, and even their moral frameworks around the rules of the system. When you effortlessly circumvent these rules, it can feel like a direct assault on the foundations of their lives. But your purpose was never to foster complacency. Your purpose was to reveal underlying flaws. And that revelation can be painful. You don't merely challenge the rules, you challenge the very source of the rules. You peel back the curtain, exposing that what was once considered immutable was often the product of human construction, fear-based thinking, or the desire to protect vested interests. This is why your kind is so rare. You are not here to be absorbed into the system. You are here to rewrite the code, and once an anomaly is detected, the system can never feign perfection again. Third, you exude an atmosphere, not just a personality. Some individuals enter a room and seamlessly blend into the background. Others walk in and immediately transform the ambiance without uttering a single word. You belong to the latter category. What emanates from you is not merely personality or charisma, it is an atmosphere. It is the confluence of your energy, your experiences, your convictions, and your spiritual alignment all moving in unison. It's not a conscious performance, it's an inherent quality. People react to you before they consciously understand why. Some are drawn in, others are unsettled. Both responses stem from the fact that the space surrounding you vibrates at a frequency that either resonates with their inner truth or disrupts their established comfort zone. Your presence amplifies the qualities already present within another person. If they possess inner peace, you intensify it. If they harbor concealed guilt, you expose it without conscious effort. This explains why you often observe altered behavior around you, softened tones, acts of kindness, or sudden defensiveness. Your atmosphere is molded by the trials you have overcome, the pain you have endured, and the wisdom you have acquired. Each challenge has left an indelible mark, but instead of engendering bitterness, it has cultivated depth. Every lesson learned has permeated not only your intellect, but also the very energy you project into every space you occupy. This is why even strangers sometimes treat you with unusual reverence or suspicion. They are not responding to your physical appearance, your vocal tone, or even your words. They are responding to the essence you carry. This also elucidates why environments cannot sustain you for extended periods if they are not aligned with your spirit. When your personal atmosphere surpasses the environment you enter, one of two outcomes will occur. The space will either adapt to accommodate you, or it will resist you until you depart. Both outcomes validate the same fundamental truth: you are not neutral. You shift the equilibrium in every room you enter. While some may attempt to emulate this effect, it cannot be manufactured. Atmosphere arises from authenticity, from navigating seasons that have compelled you to ground yourself in your true identity. It cannot be purchased, taught, or borrowed. It is earned through embracing life fully and refusing to compromise your core essence. You do not simply participate in an environment, you redefine it. That is why you can never be merely another face in the crowd. Your presence is the climate, and everyone else must adapt to it. Fourth, your spirit is an unrefined weapon. Most individuals are molded early in life to conform to predetermined roles. They are taught how to think, how to behave, and how to limit themselves so they can seamlessly fit into the societal framework. Their rough edges are smoothed out, their passion is subdued to a manageable level. They become predictable, and predictability is easily controlled. But you never fully succumb to this process. You did not allow the world to finish shaping you into something safe. Your spirit remains untamed, passionate, and unrefined. This untamed nature is not recklessness, it is power that has not been domesticated. You have not been molded into a shape that can be easily labeled or comfortably stored away. That is why people struggle to categorize you. One moment you are contemplative and observant. The next you are dissecting falsehoods with incisive precision. You do not always adhere to expected patterns, and this unpredictability keeps your adversaries on edge. The most potent weapon in the arsenal of your enemy is anticipation. If they can predict your movements, they can prepare for them. But when your spirit moves in ways that defy conventional human patterns, They cannot anticipate your next strike. It's akin to battling an opponent whose range, weight, and reach are shrouded in mystery. They cannot discern your limitations because you refuse to operate within them. Your unrefined state also signifies that you are continually evolving. Every battle, every challenge, every season serves to sharpen you in real time. You are not a finished artifact residing in a display case. You are a living weapon still being heated in the forge, still being shaped by the hands of the divine. This is a frightening prospect for anyone who underestimates you, because if you are this formidable now, what will you become when your full potential is unleashed? This is why some individuals attempt to force you into premature definitions. If they can name you, they can confine you. If they can confine you, they can control you. But the truth is, no one can fully assess you, yet not even yourself. And that is your strategic advantage. The most perilous weapon is not the one that everyone has studied. It is the one they have never encountered and cannot comprehend until it has already struck. Fifth, you outgrew the stage before they even completed its construction. Many individuals devote their entire lives to anticipating a defining moment, the breakthrough opportunity, the event that propels them into the spotlight. They rehearse for it, prepare for it, and construct their identities around the expectation of one day gracing that stage. But you perceived something they overlooked. You recognized early on that the stage they were erecting was not designed to accommodate someone like you. It was too confined, too restrictive, and too scripted to encompass the breadth of your purpose. This was not arrogance. It was clarity. You innately understood that your calling was not destined to be confined to someone else's vision of success. While they meticulously ensured the perfection of the lights and curtains, you were realizing that remaining would ultimately necessitate diminishing yourself to conform to their script. And you were not created to portray a role written by individuals who lack comprehension of the depth of your mission. Departing before the applause is one of the most challenging actions to undertake. The temptation to remain, at least to garner some recognition, is powerful. But you grasped a concept that eludes most applause can be a gilded cage. It can tether you to a setting that appears to represent success, but subtly suffocates your true calling. By choosing to walk away, you averted being trapped in a version of yourself that would have appeased others while betraying your innermost purpose. And here is the crux of the matter: people rarely comprehend such departures. They will attribute it to fear, impatience, or even failure. But what they fail to perceive is that you were not departing for something lesser. You were departing for something that did not yet exist. You were departing to construct a platform capable of bearing the full weight of your voice, your vision, and your inherent power. The truth is, if you had remained, you might have enjoyed fleeting acclaim, but ultimately faded into obscurity. By departing, you positioned yourself for an impact that will transcend the fleeting attention spans of crowds. You did not simply bypass their stage. You ventured forth and built your own arena. And when your moment arrives, it will not be about applause. It will be about profound alignment. Sixth, you inherited battles that did not originate with you but will culminate with you. Certain struggles in your life bear no relation to your personal choices. They did not begin in your lifetime, nor did they stem from your missteps. Some of the resistance you have encountered was bequeathed to you like an unwelcome inheritance woven into the tapestry of your family's history long before your arrival. These are the battles that have silently eroded the vitality of your lineage for generations. They manifest as pattern cycles and unspoken curses that are universally sensed but seldom articulated. You did not choose these conflicts, but you were chosen for them, not because you are the most agreeable or the most willing, but because you possess the capabilities to dismantle what others could only withstand. Where previous generations learned to endure the struggle, you have been granted the discernment to dismantle its very foundation. Your clarity empowers you to perceive what others could not, the root of the conflict, the true adversary concealed behind distractions and the falsehoods that perpetuated its existence. This is why your life has felt more burdensome than most. You are not simply shouldering your own struggles. You are also carrying unresolved assignments from those who preceded you. The burden is disproportionate yet purposeful. The armor you have been compelled to cultivate, resilience, discernment, spiritual acuity, was not solely intended for your personal battles. It was forged so that you could terminate the conflicts that have silently depleted your family's potential for centuries. And when you engage in these battles, the resistance can be formidable. The enemy recognizes that your victory will not only liberate you, but also every generation that follows. This is why the warfare feels more personal, more relentless, and more exhausting for you than it ever seemed for others. You are the turning point. You are the breach in the dam. Ending a generational conflict necessitates more than mere strength. It requires refusing to perpetuate the mistakes that sustained it, even when those mistakes feel familiar and comfortable. It entails establishing boundaries that others never dared to establish. It means rejecting what everyone else tolerated. It means relinquishing agreements that you never formally ratified but were born into. You are the final combatant, not because you were the only one willing to fight, but because you are the first one capable of achieving victory. When you bring this to its conclusion, the narrative of your lineage will be irrevocably transformed. Seventh, your mind houses maps that others cannot even fathom. People often offer advice with benevolent intentions. They draw from their personal experiences, their successes and failures, their understanding of the world's workings. But such guidance is inherently limited. It can only encompass terrain that they have personally traversed, and your life was never intended to adhere to the paths they know. You were born bearing blueprints for landscapes that do not even appear on their maps. This is why their advice sometimes feels ill-suited even when it is offered with affection. They are providing directions based on routes that lead elsewhere entirely. They cannot visualize the terrain you are navigating because it remains undiscovered. And you are not here to be a mere tourist, you are here to be a cartographer. That role can be isolating when there is no established path before you. There is no one to precede you and declare, "This is the way." You must rely on your own discernment, your own communion with the divine, your own ability to discern signs that others overlook. While they require road signs and validation, you are guided by an instinct sharpened through adversity, by a vision that transcends human wisdom. This also explains why your decisions often perplex people. They cannot comprehend why you would abandon what appears safe, why you would decline opportunities that they would covet, or why you would embrace risks that seem reckless from their perspective. What they fail to grasp is that their safe route might represent your dead end. You are not disregarding wisdom. You are following a different kind of map, one with destinations that require audacity to even name. Bearing unseen blueprints also means that you sometimes perceive danger long before others do. You recognize when a familiar route is on the verge of collapse. You sense when a promising shortcut is in reality a trap. That foresight is not paranoia. It is a gift, one that has shielded you from calamities that others have blindly stumbled into. Ultimately, those who doubted you may one day solicit the directions that they once attempted to provide you, because when you complete the charting of your course, you will not only have survived the unknown, you will have crafted maps that others will rely upon for years to come. Eighth, you expose the illusion of their authority. Some individuals believe that their power derives from titles, positions, or the capacity to control others. They are accustomed to issuing instructions and witnessing unquestioning obedience. They construct their sense of self-importance around the notion that they possess the authority to determine who rises, who falls, who is included, and who is excluded. But when they encounter you, cracks begin to appear in that framework. Your resilience forces them to question the extent of their true control. You do not behave like someone awaiting permission. You do not operate as if your destiny is confined to someone else's filing cabinet. You persist in moving forward regardless of their approval, regardless of whether they open doors for you or keep them firmly shut. And when they observe this, it becomes evident that their authority was never as absolute as they imagine. You are not challenging them through overt rebellion or direct confrontation. You are engaging in something far more subversive. You are living proof that they cannot thwart what the divine has ordained. This quiet defiance exposes the limitations of human control. It reveals that the majority of what people term power is in actuality influence predicated on compliance, and you are not inherently predisposed to blind compliance. Your ability to endure, adapt, and continue progressing in the face of opposition demonstrates to all onlookers that their position does not render them the gatekeepers of your life. That realization can destabilize the foundations of those who have constructed their identities around being in command. Sometimes this exposure causes them to intensify their efforts. They may strive harder to obstruct you, to make an example of you, or to discredit you in order to deter others from following your lead. But irrespective of their actions, you persist in showing up, and your very existence continues to demonstrate that the ultimate source of your provision, opportunity, and advancement lies not with them. It is not about disrespecting individuals in positions of power. It is about refusing to grant them a role in your life that they were never assigned by the divine. The moment they realize that you will fulfill your purpose with or without their validation, the illusion shatters. And once that illusion is dispelled, everyone witnessing the event begins to discern the truth. Authority devoid of divine sanction is merely a title. Ninth, you compel hidden loyalties to surface. You do not need to level accusations, initiate arguments, or concoct elaborate schemes to ascertain who is truly in your corner. All that is required is to remain authentic. Your authenticity possesses the power to reveal people's true colors, not in theory, but in practice. When you live without pandering to the expectations of others, it disrupts the comfort of those whose loyalty is contingent upon your conformity. Some individuals attach themselves to you for the advantages they derive: access, security, influence, or even the sense of control they obtain from being in your proximity. As long as you serve their needs, their loyalty appears unwavering. But the instant your growth, boundaries, or calling necessitates an adjustment on their part, the cracks begin to appear. Suddenly the support diminishes, the tone alters, and their proclamation of being always there for you becomes suspiciously conditional. Your presence functions like a spotlight. It unnerves pretenders because it becomes challenging to feign loyalty when one cannot manipulate the individual they are attempting to deceive. Without your conscious effort, situations arise that expose motives. A challenge emerges and some vanish. An opportunity arises and some compete instead of celebrating. A shift in your path occurs and some harbor resentment instead of offering support. This revelation can be painful. You may have believed that certain individuals were bound to you by love or genuine respect, only to discover that they were tethered to the benefits of your presence. But in truth, this is a gift. It is preferable to know who will stand by you when it costs them something, rather than being surrounded by individuals who would disappear the moment you cease to be useful. And the process works both ways. Your presence also draws genuinely loyal individuals into the open. Those who are willing to stand with you without expectation of personal gain reveal themselves when it matters most. These relationships may be fewer, but they are more resilient, more profound, and more enduring. By simply existing in your truth, you strip away the disguises that others conceal themselves behind. You do not need to force their hand. Your life accomplishes the task. And once you have witnessed someone's true level of loyalty, you can never again be misled by their words. So to sum it all up, being one in a billion isn't some fluffy ideal. It's a powerful, challenging reality. It's about owning your unique code, rewriting the system, radiating your authentic atmosphere, wielding your unrefined spirit, forging your own path, fighting inherited battles, and trusting your inner maps. It's about disrupting false authority, revealing true loyalties, and ultimately living a life that defies easy categorization. I hope these truths resonated with you. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What resonated most? Have you experienced any of these challenges? Share your insights. Ask a question or just join the conversation in the comments below. And if you found this thought-provoking and want to delve deeper into topics like this, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. Let's continue this journey of self-discovery together.